On the night of December 6, 2009, in West Valley City, Utah, Susan Powell, a 28-year-old mother of two, vanished without leaving a single confirmed trace. She was last seen inside her own home, where nothing appeared broken, disturbed, or out of place. No signs of forced entry, no struggle, no witnesses. Imagem Sugarita, fachada de uma casa suburbana americana a noite, luces apagadas, atmosfera silenciosa. That same night, her husband claimed he took their two young sons on a late-night camping trip in the freezing Utah desert, a trip that made no sense for the time, the weather, or the children's ages. Imagem Sugarita, estrada deserta a noite, feroz iluminando o escuro. When Susan failed to show up for work the next morning, police were called. Officers entered the house and immediately noticed something unsettling. Susan's purse, wallet, and personal belongings were still there, everything she would normally take if she left voluntarily. Imagem Sugarita, bolsa feminina sobre uma mesa, cartera visible. From that moment on, investigators treated the case not as a simple disappearance, but as something far more serious: a mother gone, two children left behind, and a story that would only grow darker with time. As police questioned the family, attention quickly turned to Susan's husband, Josh Powell. He calmly told investigators that on the same night his wife disappeared, he suddenly decided to take his two small sons camping, late at night, in the middle of winter, with freezing temperatures. Imagem Sugarita, barraca isolada em de cerdo frio, se o escuro. His explanation raised immediate concern. There were no clear reasons for the trip, no witnesses who could confirm it, and no urgency that justified leaving home after midnight, especially with young children. Imagem Sugarita, banco trasero de carro com cadeirinhas infantis vazias. When asked about Susan's whereabouts, his answers were vague and inconsistent. He could not explain why her phone was off, why her car was still at home, or why none of her personal items were missing. Imagem Sugarita, celularges legado sobre uma mesa, de la escura. Investigators noted his behavior carefully: no visible panic, no clear concern, only rehearsed statements. And while he was never immediately charged, the focus of the investigation had quietly shifted, from a missing person case, to a possible crime inside the home. As investigators searched the house again, small details began to feel deeply wrong. The bedroom showed signs of recent cleaning, areas wiped down with unusual care, as if someone had tried to erase a moment that should never be forgotten. Imagem Sugarita, quarto mal iluminado, linceis arumados demais, clima frio. Susan's cell phone records were reviewed. Her last known activity stopped abruptly the night she vanished. No goodbye messages, no calls for help, no indication she planned to leave. Imagem Sugarita, teleta celular com historico de camadas vazio. Friends and co-workers told police that Susan Powell had been fearful in the weeks before her disappearance. She had spoken about problems at home, about feeling watched, controlled, and unsafe. Imagem Sugarita, mulher sentada sozinha perto de uma janela, expressão tensa. A journal entry later discovered hinted at her state of mind. She wrote that if anything ever happened to her, investigators should look closely at her husband, a chilling warning that would change how police viewed the case forever. Imagem Sugarita, caterno aberto com escrita borrada, luz fraca. From that point on, this was no longer just a missing person investigation. It was the search for the truth behind a silence that someone had tried very hard to hide. As investigators dug deeper, another disturbing figure entered the spotlight: Josh's father, Steve Powell, a man whose obsession with Susan had been quietly documented for years. Imagem Sugarita, homem me velho observado a distancia, rosto parcialmente em sombras. Police discovered journals, photos, and audio recordings, materials in which he spoke about Susan in inappropriate and unsettling ways, describing her as if she belonged to him, not to her own life. Imagem Sugarita, queixas amigas cheias de papéis, fitas e fotografias. This revelation shocked investigators. It painted a picture of a household surrounded by control, fixation, and emotional pressure, an environment Susan had tried to escape. Imagem Sugarita, casa vista por dentro, corredores estreitos, sensação de confinamento. Meanwhile, Josh remained free, no body, no crime scene strong enough for charges, yet the evidence continued to stack up quietly: phone data, behavior patterns, testimonies from friends, all pointing in the same direction. Despite growing suspicion, authorities faced a painful reality: without a body or a clear crime scene, there was little they could legally do. The case stalled under the weight of unanswered questions. Imagem Sugarita, delegacia a noite, luces frias, clima de impasse. Detectives from the West Valley City Police Department continued working quietly, re-interviewing witnesses, rechecking timelines, hoping one mistake would finally surface. Imagem Sugarita, investigadores revisando arquivos em uma sala escura. Josh Powell moved out of Utah soon after, taking his two sons with him. The distance made surveillance harder, and the silence louder. Imagine Sugarita, Estrada longa y vazia, caro se afastando. Meanwhile, Susan's parents refused to let her name disappear. They spoke to the media, organized searches, and pushed for answers, determined that time would not erase their daughter. Years after Susan vanished, the case took a devastating turn. Concerns about Josh's behavior led child welfare authorities to intervene. Supervised visits were ordered to protect the boys. Imagine Sugarita, sala simples de visita supervisionada, clima tenso. The decision came after investigators and social workers reviewed disturbing patterns, emotional instability, isolation, and unresolved suspicions surrounding Susan's disappearance. Imagine Sugarita, documentos oficiais sobre uma mesa, carimbos y notisos. During one of those supervised visits, monitored by the Washington State Department of Social and Health Services, tragedy struck without warning, an act so sudden and violent that it shocked the entire country. Imagine Sugarita, casa vista de fora, siren reflected as nas janelas. Josh Powell killed his 2 young sons and then himself, taking with him any chance of a confession, any possibility of knowing where Susan was. Susan Powell's disappearance left no grave, no final answer, only a warning etched into true crime history, that some cases don't fade, they linger. Her story changed how missing person cases involving family are viewed, highlighting the danger signs of control, isolation, and ignored red flags, lessons learned too late. Advocates continue to speak her name, not to reopen wounds, but to prevent others from being silenced the same way. Susan is remembered not only as a victim, but as a mother, a daughter, a woman who tried to escape, and whose absence still demands accountability. Because even without a body, without a confession, the truth leaves a shadow, and some disappearances are never truly gone, they wait, to be remembered. Years have passed, investigations ended, files archived, but the question remains alive: what truly happened to Susan Powell? Authorities stated publicly that answers died with Josh, leaving a family without closure, and a case without resolution. This disappearance became a symbol of how control, fear, and silence can hide a crime in plain sight. There was no final confession, no recovery, no goodbye, only a conclusion built on evidence without a body, and in true crime history, this case stands as a reminder: some stories don't end, they simply stop speaking, because when the truth is buried with the guilty, the absence becomes the loudest evidence of all. This story does not end with answers, it ends with absence, a silence louder than any confession. Susan Powell's disappearance reminds us that truth can be hidden, justice can be delayed, and some crimes leave no final proof, but remembering is a form of resistance. Speaking her name keeps the case alive, even when the file is closed, because as long as these stories are told, the silence never fully wins, and the truth is never completely erased.